Hi everybody, Mr. Piercy here. We're going to be looking at a next construction here. We're going to be looking at angle bisectors. An angle bisector, remember the definition is an angle bisector is a ray that cuts an angle into two equal parts. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be constructing that ray. Now an angle bisector, aside from probably the just copying a segment, the angle bisector is probably the easiest construction to do. It's relatively quick and easy, usually can be done with one hand, and it's really useful when we're dealing with things, particularly with triangles. Now that's not the only time that we'll have to maybe find an angle bisector, but let's see how it's done first. Now an angle bisector can be done with any type of angle, uh, but before we get going, again, make sure you have your protractor and your compass handy, so that way you can have the straight edge to do the constructions with and the compass to actually find where the middle of the angle will be. So we can do this with any kind of angle, but I'm going to start it with an acute angle because most people just see it easier that way. So I'm going to create an angle, and again, I'm not going to measure it at all. I'm just constructing an angle, and we'll call it, I'll give myself a point here, and of course the vertex, so we'll call this A, B, C. Now, looking at it, we know that the angle bisector should kind of go there somewhere. And what we need to do is we need to be able to give ourselves a second point to draw a ray. The end point of the ray will come from point B, but I need something inside of the angle itself to act as a second point. Now this is where our compass is going to come into play. And I'm drawing my angle this way. I'm drawing it opening kind of to the left that way. Again, primarily because I'm right-handed, it's easier for me to do my construction holding my compass in my right hand this way. If you're left-handed, you might want to make the angle go opening up the other way. Or if the angle is opening up the other way and you're right-handed, you could always simply turn your paper around and go from there. Okay, now how do we find another point here? Well, the only way that we can find another point here is to give me some kind of reference off of ray ray BC and ray BA. What we'll do is we'll take the tip of our compass and we'll place it at the vertex of the angle. Now, this is where you don't. You have to use a little bit of your own judgment here to see, well, where do I open up my compass? Do I want to make it up all the way down to about where the end of the ray is drawn on one or the other? Do I want to make it really, really close? My advice is kind of somewhere in the middle. You don't really want it super close. You don't want your compass opened up really close to the vertex because the points that you're going to be making is going to be really close to point B, and that may not be the most accurate construction. But you don't really want it super far because you may run out of paper when you're doing your construction, or it just may not fit on the diagram that you have. So I'm going to maybe go about 3/4 of the way, and again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. I'm going to go about 3/4 of the way down, and I'm going to draw an arc on ray BC, and without opening my compass at all, I'm going to keep the point of the compass at the vertex, and I'm going to draw another arc on ray BA. Now here, this is why I say it's pretty easy, is that you don't need to adjust your compass at this point. Now, if you do, it's not the end of the world. You could definitely make it wider if you wanted to. I really wouldn't recommend closing it, but if you wanted to make it wider, you're more than welcome to. But the reason why it's so simple and so fast is because, here, let's go ahead and label these points. I'll call this point X, and I'll call this point Y, where the arc and the rays intersect. And what I'm going to do is from point Y, I'm going to draw an arc somewhere in the interior region of the angle. And without adjusting my compass, I'll go to point X, and I will do the same thing. And the point where they meet, I will call that point D. You guys, let me not put it right there because that'll be in the way of the line when I draw it. Let's put D here. Uh, Now we have a point on the interior region of our angle that if we take our straight edge, now we have a nice distance between the 2 points that we're going to draw, and I will line up point B and point D, and I'm going to draw ray BD. And if I really want to be correct, I should probably put the angles or the little arrows on it showing that they're continuous. And now you can, if you want to, measure the angles. But another way of measuring the angle or knowing that you did the construction properly is you can kind of open it up here, and you can see it's the same. So that's one way we can use our compass to know that we constructed it correctly. Otherwise, you can measure angle here. It would be CBD, which is looking here right about 30 degrees, a little bit in between 30 and 31. And here I can measure the same angle, and I didn't quite draw the ray out far enough, but that looks right around 30 or 31 also. So we've constructed the angle bisector, and again, what I'd like you to do is draw a few of them. Practice it with an obtuse angle instead of just an acute angle. Practice this construction a few times until you feel comfortable doing it. So that way, if you saw it and you were asked to do it on your own, you'd be like, "Oh, I remember how to do it." Or you can, and of course, make sure you leave your construction marks there as evidence. So, anyway, guys, that's it for this lesson. Thanks for watching,